Hello, my friends. Today, offensives continues across the entire front line without exception, and I'd like to start right away with the Kherson direction. According to reports from the armed forces of Ukraine, our units are making progress. Official confirmation of this, of course, is not yet available, and the front line remains unchanged. Meanwhile, the Russians, as before, continue to storm the village of Krynky and attempt to push our units from the left bank. But they don't seem particularly eager to do so because every day they suffer significant losses. However, the reason for this are unclear. Russian war correspondents describe the situation as follows.
According to the situation in the evening of December 16, 23 in the area of Krynky. Compared to yesterday, the situation has not changed today. The 328th Air Assault Regiment of the 104th Air Assault Division also continues to storm the village of Krynky. Also, there is information that the assault units, which are now involved in the area of the village of Krynky, are discussing the words of the Supreme Commander: do not rush to squeeze the enemy out of Krynky. To put it mildly, the soldiers were perplexed as to why they were once again sent to storm these KRNKs contrary to the order of the president.
It seems that soon there will be another batch of defectors on this front who won't go for the assault, which is very encouraging. However, on the Zaporizhzhia front, the Russians are relentless in their attempts to nullify all the successes of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the counteroffensive. They are exerting pressure from both sides in the areas of Robotyne and Novobakhmutivka. Shelling continues, and they are trying to cut off all logistical routes supporting our units. The battle is very intense, but there are no changes along the front line within the day. In the Vuhledar direction, the number of shelling has decreased, and all attacks in the Staromayorsk area were unsuccessful. Therefore, the front line remains unchanged for the day, with no new attacks recorded. But on the Avdiivka front, it's just hell. Besides the fact that weather conditions don't allow drones to operate, the occupiers continue their offensive actions from all directions without stopping. Attacks persist regardless of mud or snow. There are numerous shelling on the northern flank. The Russians are conducting offensive actions on Novobakhmutivka, Stepove, and battles continue in the area of the coking chemical plant. Their goal here is to reach the outskirts of the city and try to cut off the crucial road that supports the units in the city. They need to advance 1 kilometer and 600 meters here. However, the Ukrainian Armed Forces are doing everything to maintain defense, so the front line remains unchanged for the day. Battles also continue in the industrial zone. The occupiers are deploying a large number of forces to consolidate on the outskirts of the city, but it seems they are not succeeding, so the front line remains unchanged. There are significant difficulties on the southern flank in the Pervomaiske area. The occupiers are tightening the siege on the village and attempting to capture it from two sides. According to unconfirmed information, the Russians have tactical successes, but globally the front line remains unchanged. Battles are also ongoing for Nevelske, but here the Ukrainian forces are successful. Southward, the occupiers have halted attacks on the outskirts of Marinka, and there is currently a regrouping. A significant number of forces have been deployed to the villages of Pobeda and Novobakhmutivka. In Novobakhmutivka, the situation is very challenging. The Russians are storming from two sides, trying to squeeze Ukrainian forces from the outskirts of the village. thus taking control of part of the settlement under their control. However, the battles continue and the Ukrainian Armed Forces are not retreating. In the Bakhmut direction, battles are ongoing along the entire front line. Today, the main Russian forces have been deployed to storm the positions of the Ukrainian Armed Forces near Bogdanivka and Ivanivske. Here, they have a more critical task than in Klishchiivka. Advancing to Chasiv Yar, all attention and forces will be redirected to the city. No one wants to sacrifice another significant city to destruction. There seems to be a looming major battle there. However, there are no changes along the front line for the day. The Ukrainian Armed Forces are doing everything to maintain defense. In the areas of Kreminna and Siversk, the Russians continue to intensify shelling along the entire front line. Offensive actions are also observed in Terne. However, all attacks in the Yampolivka and Makiyivka areas were unsuccessful, thus the front line remains unchanged for the day. In the direction of Svatove, there are no changes. Minimal shelling and the absence of offensive actions indicate that the Russians still lack the resources to be active along the entire front line, despite their claims to the contrary. Unfortunately, the Ukrainian Armed Forces haven't initiated a counteroffensive on this front. In the Kupiansk direction, intense battles are taking place for Synkivka. The Ukrainian Armed Forces released a video yesterday showing another assault involving armored vehicles. It's evident that it's fortunate they were spotted using a drone.
The situation near Synkivka is as tense as possible. The Russians are marching in columns for the second day. Our fighters, despite the bitter cold, are doing everything possible to destroy as many as possible. It is good when there are birds in the sky, which are very helpful in detecting and adjusting artillery in time.
Therefore, as evident, drones play a crucial role on the front line today. However, we can see that the Russians are not achieving significant success. If there is any advancement, it is only by tens or at most hundreds of meters. Moreover, once positions are captured, the Ukrainian Armed Forces attempt to repel them with counterattacks. So it's clear that the Russians don't have a clear advantage here. The village remains under the control of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and the front line remains unchanged. In the other settlements, only shelling is reported with no offensive actions. Additionally, it is reported that today the Ukrainian Armed Forces have received the first batch of unmanned aerial vehicles kamikaze produced in Ukraine.
The Armed Forces of Ukraine received the first batch of AQ-400 Scythe kamikaze UAVs, which are manufactured on the territory of Ukraine. The successful completion of the procurement was announced by the development company Terminal Autonomy. The initial production capacity is 100 units per month. It is planned to increase it to 500 units. The AQ-400 Scythe is a long-range drone designed to be launched from short runways or catapults. Characteristics of the drone: cruising speed, 144 km per hour, range, up to 750 km, UAV wingspan, 2.3 m, takeoff weight of the UAV, 100 kg. Warhead weight, 32 kg. By reducing the range, it can be expanded to 70 kg. Its features are its speed of assembly, the possibility of mass production, and its low cost, making it a key asset in modern warfare. It is noted that although the company purchases some components outside of Ukraine, primarily from Germany and the United Kingdom, the priority of the project is the maximum localization of production within Ukraine.
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.